Thanks for joining me for another video. This is my comparison of the nuclear cell to the hypercell fused. Both balls are drilled 5x3.5 by 2.5, and we're going to take a look at the house shot footage first. As we've discussed in the other videos, the nuclear cell is freakishly strong for a shiny ball. The friction response is incredibly strong to begin with, it's still strong in the oil, and it doesn't seem like any amount of angle slows it down. If it isn't the strongest shiny pearl I've ever thrown, it's close. Storm's Intense from a few years ago makes the list, and though we'll see the Astrophysics and Halo Pearl in other comparisons, neither of them is stronger. Throwing virtually anything from second arrow on the house shot here is difficult, and this one was no exception. Another note to make is that no matter where I was standing, I never felt like I could get around the ball. I had to make sure I stayed even further behind it than I already do just to get it down the lane, even once I got deeper. Anytime I got around it even just a little, it wouldn't get down the lane. Initially, I got kind of a false sense of how clean the ball actually is just because there was a lot of definition off the end of the pattern, but as I continue to watch video on the medium-ish volume we have here, it's trying hard to pick up and go. Flipping over to the 2019 Nationals DNS pattern, it's still more of the same. There's more push to the right, and I don't have to work so hard to get it down the lane, but I can't exactly settle down too much. I still have to stay aggressive. That's not really my game. The surface on the ball isn't exactly what I'd want for this kind of condition. However, I still had confidence that the ball was going to hook. I threw one out the window from straighter and wrapped a couple tens, but despite not being my game, despite the surface not being ideal, it still works better than expected just because the ball is going to move. This is the ultimate confidence ball. If you can't get this ball to hook or punch down lane, you're doing something wrong. I've also heard from several people who have thrown them already at demos and matchmakers, and they're all saying the same thing. It just booms. Switching to the fused, I was surprised at how smooth and round it was. It's still straighter off the end of the pattern, which I remember, but I also remember my first one being sharper on the back end. Now, of course, when I go back and watch my original review for the fused when it came out, it looks the same as this one. So it appears the definition of sharp or friction response has changed, or my memory just sucks. Either one is plausible. I do, however, remember not getting along with it personally. It was a great reaction for a lot of people, but I stay behind the ball more, and the straighter roll out the end of the pattern just didn't fit my game. That hasn't changed much, on the house shot anyway. I had a good look from third arrow, second arrow it was too much ball, of course. Fourth arrow it was a little too straight, but it was easier to throw than the nuclear, there's just too much friction out of the nuke. On the DNS shot, it looked really good. Even with the shine on it, it was smoother, so that allowed for greater control. I drilled the fuse specifically for the review. It was a comparison everyone wanted to see, but it's discontinued. I wasn't planning on doing anything with it beyond this, but the look I have here made me reconsider that some, especially being that the ultimate plan was to take it to 3,000 anyway. Once again, from the deeper angles, it was a bit weak here and there, but that was to be expected. It's a heavy volume pattern and a shiny surface, but I think that just drives home how strong the nuclear is. The fused is still a strong ball though. It was a popular ball, there's a lot of people that still throw them, and they're still in demand. I'm not going to say the nuclear is better because better is relative and more hook doesn't equal better, but in a direct comparison, the nuclear outclasses it. Be sure to join me for part 2 of this comparison where I take both balls to 3,000 on the DNS pattern and see what that changes. Thanks for watching.